Scott Johnson. Like I said, grew up in Arkansas, graduated from University of Arkansas, degree in construction management. Moved to Vegas in 1991. I had been co-oping with a company here, Richardson Construction. At one time was the largest African-American owned construction company in Las Vegas. We built a lot of schools and fire stations, a lot of stuff in the community. Pearson Center, Doolittle. We did the remodel on Doolittle. Did the Doolittle Senior Center, H.P. Fitzgerald Elementary School, probably 20 or 30 fire stations. Then I went to Bechtel Corporation, worked out there as assistant authorized representative, which is basically a site engineer. I was a cost engineer, quality control manager. At the airport, I was certified with the FAA I handled all the reports for the runways. Whenever we report runways and stuff like that, I handled all the reports for the FAA. Last project I did with Richardson, I retired in 2013. I did Lorenzi Park. I put that new lake in at Lorenzi, did the second phase of that. Took a year off, traveled with my son. My son's in action sports. He's a pro scooter rider, travels all over the country riding scooters. So I took a year just to travel with him. Got a phone call from some friends of mine that were in the construction industry. They were looking for a location to do recycling at. So the largest piece of property we saw was the Moulin Rouge. So I called Mr. Collins, and at the time he told me that Ward 5 Chamber was the one that were in charge of the property. Went over and did a presentation for Miss Duncan over at Mr. Mumford's house, and that's kind of how we got started in it. We started bringing equipment over, and once we started doing our crushing operations, then that's when stuff kind of got elevated. It's like, okay, well, somebody's actually doing something. As long as that property sit there and nobody bothered it, and it was a blight to community, no problems. Once we got there and started attempting to do something, next thing you know, they say we got a junkyard going. Here comes code enforcement. They shut us down, back and forth. I mean, it was insane. I mean, I had guys telling me about. I've been doing construction for 30 years. You can't tell me. I know how to get permits. I know what you need to to do it. So just fighting those fights and stuff like that, and find out behind the scenes that there were other stuff going on. The county, the city was trying to acquire the property. I mean, it was a situation where like I said, I ain't gonna throw nobody under the bus, but it was a situation where some of our politicians that look like us probably weren't the most helpful. So, but you never know what agenda is going on or who they're beholden to. So, I'm not trying to feed into that, but like I said, hopefully we move forward enough now where we can go ahead and proceed and do the project. But like I said, we didn't know a lot of the red tape and the negativity that was going on behind the scenes and what they do to prevent our community from moving forward. That's the thing that caught my attention. You would think that, hey, he's doing a great project over here and bringing stuff to community, jobs and stuff like that, because we always employ people, when I was doing projects, stuff like that. None of that matters. I said, if you don't know what the hidden agenda is what it is. I mean, it was a situation. I flew to California and met with Meyer Lansky's nephew. I don't know if you're familiar with Meyer Lansky, but all the mob stuff. I met with his nephew. He knew more about the project than I did, and he had been talking to politicians over here. I talked to the developer. The city had actually sold the property, had an agreement to sell it to this developer in California, in Newport Beach. I met with, and he showed me everything, all the names and stuff. I was like, man. I said, no wonder they fighting us so tough. They got money involved in this and stuff, and those are things that you don't hear about or know about. And and I get it. They discredit us. I'm a small guy. I ain't no big company or whatever. They say, oh, you ain't got the money to do whatever. But at least give us the opportunity. I don't care. I tell people, you got to help me, but just don't hurt me. Just give me a shot and let me see what we can do. And that's all we've ever asked when doing this project. We're at a point now, like I said, they can't really do too much. I got a lien on the property. I done bought the other pieces of property, so I'm ready to roll now. Let's go. So I said, yeah, take me out here in a box. I'll be going to Arkansas with Miss Duncan, so it's all good. But we're here to win. I started the company back in 2016. We actually have a couple of different variations of it. We had Moulin Rouge Holdings when we were attempting to purchase the Moulin Rouge property. We had LVMR LLC, also, which is the land acquisition end of it, and so we started that back in 2016. Yes, sir. Our intent was to purchase the property and rebuild the old Moulin Rouge Casino project. We got involved actually at the behest of Miss Duncan. We were working together in the first stages of the project. And that was the whole intent, was to purchase the land and move forward with doing the project. We are currently in the process of purchasing the final parcels. We have secured 2 parcels. I'm actually closing on one of the properties tomorrow. We are in contract with 2 other parcels on the property. So once we close those, then we'll have secured all the parcels needed for the project. The plan is to hopefully break ground mid part of next year and build a nice project for the community, bringing back the history of the area with the Moulin Rouge and some other entities that we're bringing in also. So that's the plan, is to by mid part of next year start the project. We've had several obstacles, a lot of red tape, a lot of things that we didn't foresee when we originally got started. Some of it due to our naiveness or naivety. A lot of it like red tape behind the scenes, politics on the property. But we pretty much worked our way through that and are now proceeding and are able to purchase the property and move forward. Yeah, a lot of things we take for granted. We think that we're all playing on a level field, and that's just not the case. I mean, there's situations where when we originally got started on the project, we attempted to have a recycling operation where we could generate income for the property and use that to purchase. I mean, we fighting the city tooth and nail. I mean, we got 27 citations for trying to do a recycling operation where there were recycling operations all over town. I mean, I had the city attorney tell me that they weren't going to allow me to recycle there, and I asked the question, why not? He said, because we said so. I said, well, that's not good enough for me. I said, there's several other locations where they have crushing operations and recycling all over town. We even had one gentleman with the city of Las Vegas say, hey, you don't see that up at Summerlin. I said, yes, you do. I said, you want to see the tape? I said, I went up and videotaped it while they were building the baseball stadium, and that's exactly what they do. That's what we do in construction. We recycle material. We're allowed to use what they call recycled type 2 on our projects. Type 2 is an aggregate material that's found under everything here in the valley because the soils are so bad. If you see them out putting what they call gravel up under all the sidewalks, on the roadways and stuff like that, it's called type 2. It's aggregate material, and you use it to get compaction. It allows you to get compaction, and you pour concrete and asphalt over the top of it. It's found everywhere. Anytime, anything you see, any roadway, sidewalk, or whatever. So here in this state of Nevada, they allow you to use what they call recycled type 2, which is basically you're taking asphalt and concrete, crushing it up, and using it as aggregate material and placing it there. Saves a lot of contractors money because you don't have to go buy gravel. You can use the recycled material if you got concrete and asphalt. We just so happened to have the Neon project going on at the same time that we were trying to construct the Rouge. So we were bringing concrete and asphalt from their bridges and stuff they were tearing down, bringing it over, recycling it, either using the material on site or giving it back to the actual contractor that was doing the Neon project. Yeah, like I said, we were using that project as a catalyst. I said, because if we don't do something major and big, we'll never get to do nothing. You can build small houses all day long. That's not really helping the community economically. The basis of all communities are economics. If you like the larger companies that we have been involved with, they come in. The first thing they look at rooftops or whatever, but they look at what can be supported. You have to have certain things that support community. You got to have businesses that bring people to the community, and we're able to utilize that. So by us bringing this project to the community, and we had heard the history of the Rouge and everything, and how proud everyone was when the Rouge was open. It remains the only profitable casino ever shut down in the nation, actually. It's listed on the historical register because of the accord that was signed on the property. But still, it was shut down due to nefarious reasons at that time. And so we thought that by bringing that back, that would be a catalyst of not only kicking off the community, but also helping with the 100 plan that was being implemented by the City of Las Vegas and UNLV and others. So, I mean, it's a major undertaking. I mean, obviously, we've been working on a substantial amount of time. And, now we're fairly close. Well, the 100 plan was a plan that was put together by UNLV, members of the community in the City of Las Vegas that would basically enhance the community as far as bringing businesses, mixed-use facilities, restaurants, and stuff of that nature. The first part of the 100 plan is started downtown Las Vegas by the street replacement, lighting that was replaced and circled around. Now, my first comment on that whole situation was like, okay, why don't you start over here? Because normally when you're doing projects of that nature, normally by the time they get back to our community, the money's gone. So that was my only complaint with that. But it's a beautification plan. Like I said, it's a start. It it may not be plausible for everyone. There's pros and cons to it, but it is a start, and it was an effort being made. So I know Councilman Creer was very active in pushing a lot of stuff to his credit in the community for different things that are involved with the 100 plan. So like I said, it's a start, it's a blueprint, it's something we can work off of, and the heads in the community can look forward to moving forward on that particular project. Bar and Grill right here at the corner of Lake Mead and 8th Street. We just left there. We just met with the owners, got through closing. We're closing that tomorrow. I'm working on the NBA Arena project. WSO is a bar and grill. It used to be 7 Seas. Originally, my family owned the property just to the north of there, where the church is right now. That was my family's property. We used to have a grocery store there a long time ago called Highview Market back in the early 70s. And so my family's been here for a while. I worked for a general contractor here in Las Vegas for 30 plus years. We built pretty much everything on this side of town. West Las Vegas Library, the theater. I built H.P. Fitzgerald Elementary School. I did Grand Sawyer Middle School. I was at the airport with Bechtel Corporation for 10 years. I did construction out there, D-Gate tram systems, the roadways from Warm Springs to Las Vegas Boulevard were some of my contracts. So we've done quite a bit of stuff in the community. I wanted to show we had businesses that were generating income and stuff like that. And like I said, I used to come in there all the time. It was available. It came to me, and it was at a time where we could move forward on it. So I have some plans for it. My uncle's in-laws used to own a place called Shays. I don't know if you guys remember Shays from a long time ago. It's at the corner of Washington and MLK. So they've my uncle's in-laws have agreed to help us also. So we may rename it, may keep it the same name. Yeah, we'll keep it bar and grill and stuff like that. We'll be transitioning over the next week. We're meeting Monday. We'll close on it tomorrow, and we'll be able to move forward. I'm going to keep the current staff they have. We'll keep them on for a while till we can transition and go from there. I'm working on a huge project also in North Las Vegas. There's a big piece of land that we're looking to develop right at the corner of Brooks and MLK. That big piece of land is right there, right before just south of Cheyenne. We've been having preliminary meetings with the city of North Las Vegas, working on that. It's a huge project. Like I said, I've done a few things in the community. Right there at the corner of Revere and Cary, I sold that property to KB Homes back in 2017. Those new homes there at Desert Mesa. That was we own that. Me and my two partners own that. So we're got a lot of stuff going on. Like I said, we're working on another top secret project. Will be coming out. Yeah, it's top secret now, but it'll be coming out next week. And so we're ready to move forward. Everything's in place and ready to go. I'll tell you some of the issues that we've been dealing with the city of Las Vegas and Clark County and others with the Rouge property. Prime example, we were under contract to purchase a Rouge back in 2021. We had an agreement in place for us to purchase a Rouge. We were short $2.9 million. They told us we had to pay $7.9 million cash to purchase Rouge. My lender from Beverly Hills told the property was in receivership at that time. Told the receiver, said, "Hey, we got $5 million. Right now we can, we'll try to get the rest." He said, "No problem. No, we got to have 7.9 because we had to pay the liens that the city had put on the property for some reason." So that was on a Wednesday. That Thursday, my lender called me and said, "Hey, Scott," he said, "I've secured the other $2.9 million. He said, "Let's call the receiver and go ahead and move forward." No problem. We're calling the receiver, calling him all day, no answer. We call his office, no answer. I was like, man, what's going on? Friday morning at around 7 o'clock, I get a text message. "Hey, Scott, we really wanted you to get the property and stuff like that, but we went in a different direction." I'm like, man, they must have got a heck of an offer, if it was more than what we had offered or what we were under contract to do. So I'm thinking, man, I said, we spent all this money in here and did all this and fought and went to court. I mean, people don't realize, me personally, I have over $2 million tied up in that property, just from going all the court days, legal stuff. I mean, we did, we had a groundbreaking ceremony. We had to put fencing up. I mean, just the insurance bonds and all that. I mean, that's my own personal money. And so, just to go through all that, it's kind of disappointing. So I was disappointed until that next week when my attorney called me. He said, "Scott," he said, "guess what they sold that property for?" I said, "What?" He said, $3.1 million. I said, what? He said, and told them they had to assume the rest of the cost. We were never given that option. We were told we had to pay it all up front. No ifs, ands, buts about it. And see, that's what a lot of people don't understand. They see the news put certain things out. They see that and they say, okay, let's roll with it. It's the same thing with a lot of stuff on social media. People see things and it may not be true, but like, okay, that's what we see and we're going to roll with that. And so a lot of times in situations, you see stuff on social media, our attorneys, when we're in business, we're told don't comment, don't get involved in that because power just only grows. So they say stay out of all that, and that's what we do. You know, I don't respond to certain things that are shown on social media. We just don't respond. It's not worth our time. So prime situation, Jackie Robinson and this arena project. Now I've been working with both groups that have been working on this arena project with Jackie and also LVXP. We actually brought in the people with LVXP that paid off a $25 million lien that was on the property that allowed them to move forward. We brought those people in originally to work with Jackie. They circumvented us and went and started their own thing. So now, all of a sudden, Jackie's like the worst human in the world. They show in the newspaper he's got a RICO charge and all this kind of stuff. Totally untrue. I mean, it's not even close. They said, oh, he stole $800 million. Okay, if he stole $800 million, he would have bought the property and moved forward with the project. Totally untrue. And it's so crazy, people just throw this stuff out here. That same guy that filed that lawsuit called them yesterday and said, hey, give me $900,000, I'll walk away. Now, how you gonna walk away with $900,000? You saying the man owes $850,000. That's the kind of stuff we have to deal with. And on the other hand, you got LVXP, who's got way more drama than anything that Jackie could ever be involved in. They're all suing each other. And they say, you know, you got county commissioners jump out here, oh, we got these wonderful guys, they got all this money. They don't have the money. They've been trying to get the money since February of last year. They put the $25 million up, which gave them first rights of refusal, but they don't have the money to close the project. $400 million is hard to get. So we brought people in that actually have that kind of funding, but now they're all suing each other. So now that all that great stuff that LVXP went on the news and the Review Journal to say, oh, we're getting ready to build the tallest building on the Strip, it's not true. I mean, they're going to be in court. I mean, you got a situation where one of the executives for LVXP put his girlfriend in there. She's a dancer. He got her employment agreement for $9 million. I got I saw the lawsuits that's happening. Review Journal hadn't said a word. I said, you know, that's something, if you want to talk about something, talk about that. You know, he's got a guy they put a guy on their board of directors that's the general manager at Crazy Horse 3, a strip club. His salary is $14.5 million. Mm-hmm. Have you heard anything about that? Good gracious. No, they don't say nothing about that, but they are continuously railroading Jackie Robinson, an African American that's trying to be the first African American with a project on the Strip. And people don't get it. They call us Mississippi the West for a reason. I have lived it. I've been in construction for a long time. Construction, you're dealing with unions, all kind of stuff. We've had projects, and rest in peace, my boss. He would, you know, he'd tell me, say, Scotty, don't get in that fight or whatever. He'd tell me certain things. Because, where I come up, I said, you know, we don't just lay down. We're not going to lay down. We're going to fight. We're going to fight the good fight. But I learned, you know, from him, you know, sometimes you got to be humble and let it go and let them do whatever. Or we've had projects taken from us, given to other contractors here in town with the county and the city. And I've had county commissioners say, hey, you know, all right, we'll let y'all get the next one. And, you know, sometimes that doesn't sit right with me. But in certain situations, you have to do what you got to do if you want to be successful here in Las Vegas and stay here in Las Vegas. So, I mean, you know, every week I see something negative about Jackie Robinson. And Jackie's team hadn't been involved in that project for probably 6 to 8 months since the county denied them an extension for their project. But that just shows how they keep the negativity going in the media and stuff like that. Now, this whole LVXP thing, you hadn't heard a word. Everybody wants to get an NBA team right now. This Vegas NBA franchise is going to be it's going to be worth between $8 and $10 billion. It's going to be the most expensive franchise ever in the history of sports in North America. So everybody's trying to get in. You keep hearing like, okay, this group's going to build an arena here. This group's going to build an arena here. What I was telling everybody is that Jackie Robinson's project is 3 years ahead of everyone. When they make the announcement for the franchise that's coming here, it would only be natural. Hey, if this guy's project is that far ahead, okay, he's the one that's going to get the NBA team. We've met with the NBA executives and talked about this whole situation. Jackie's been working on this project probably 10 or 12 years. I mean, and I mean, instead of the community rallying around him, you would think we have an African American with a chance to actually get some property on the Strip and be like a real player, and you hadn't heard a word from nobody. All we see is that what they put in the LV Review Journal and how negative it is. Nobody says anything. Nobody questions anything. They just assuming. They hit the man with a RICO charge. Totally untrue. I mean, the people that filed a lawsuit were just looking. They want a shock you, got you moment, and they got it because most of the people here in Vegas think that, I'm like, oh man, he's done. He's so far from done, you wouldn't even believe it. He has rights on that property. I mean, the entitlements and stuff. Jackie and them got all the entitlements and stuff like that. And the group that basically came in after him, they tried to steal his project. That's how I really got involved in it. I said, I'm not going to let him lose his project behind some people that are trying to steal it. I mean, the guy actually that leads LVXP used to work for Jackie. Took all his stuff. Took all his stuff. Took all drawings, whole 9 yards, everything. I got it. It don't lie. I got the lawsuits. What they did to him. Jackie was getting ready to sue anyway. So what we tried to do, we tried to come in and say, hey, let's try to get away from all this litigation. Let's get a clean deal going and go from there. So I have lenders from Florida that are working to try to get a deal done with them right now to wrap that up and bring it forward. So I'm not going to let that man, I know what he had to deal with because I dealt with the same thing. He on the Strip, so I know he dealing with it 10 times more than me. I mean, where I grew up, we supported everyone. I'll tell you a prime example, New Jerusalem Church, when Reverend Rogers was trying to get his church finished. Newspaper, he got his family on the payroll and all this kind of stuff. Instead of them saying, what can we do to help him finish his project, all you saw was the negativity in there. Back where I grew up, we'd all gather together and say, hey, let's go over and help this man finish his church. That's what we miss in our community. I go down, the people I do business with in California, I do business with Filipinos down in Pasadena. It's amazing to watch them, how they work and how they pool their money together, how they do stuff, and how they operate and get stuff done. They all live great lives and stuff like that. It's like, man, if I get our community to do stuff like that, I try to do something. I look up, everybody's, oh, he ain't got no money, this and that or whatever. It's always so much negativity. Like I said, I've grown to the point now where I don't even care. I'm like, ain't nothing you can do to me. I said, as long as my family happy, I'm good. So you can say whatever you want to. I'm not going to respond to it because it's not worth my time. You taking time and energy from me. I'm not going to do that. But I'd be damned if I'm going to let that man lose that property on the Strip without doing something about it. And the same thing, and like I said, I've gotten to know him over the years. I know what he's dealing with. I know how negative they are. I've been in all the meetings and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I said, this guy is that close. I mean, literally that close to being on the Strip. And I only knew one African American that had property on the Strip. There's Sam Armstrong, on Ray and Ross bus line here in Vegas. He's the only one. He had a small piece down by Mandalay Bay. And I'm like, man, that would be so amazing. But it's a shame that we still have these conversations. We getting ready to run into 2025, and we don't have anybody on the Strip. We don't have any kind of representation. I mean, since I've been working on this Moulin Rouge project, I mean, there's a level of finance that we don't even know nothing about. If I had to go back to school now, I'd tell everybody, study finance. Because there are things they never tell us about. I mean, the trade platforms, all that kind of stuff. Those are the things that we're doing right now that we're involved in. I mean, literally, we can fund everything in the whole community just by using those trade platforms. If we, now that we have access to them, but we never had access to them. It took us this long to get there. And like I said, we continue, to hear the negativity and stuff like that, but that's not going to stop us. Miss Duncan, no, I'm not going to be stopped. She know how I am. I mean, I'm going there, and if not only for me, people think I'm doing it for me. It's not about me. It's about the community. It's about Miss Duncan. It's about Mr. Collins. People that have paid the way that allow me to do what I do. I mean, they give me credibility when I go and sit down with these people, stuff like that. So we're not going anywhere. Like I said, I refuse to let that man lose his project. Same thing with everything over here. And in the next couple of weeks, we will be making some major moves here in the community and help Miss Duncan with whatever she needs. I mean, that's what we're here for. Let me tell you how they did Jackie. They dug that little hole in the ground over there between Fontainebleau and Sahara. You know how much they charged him? They put a lien on the property for $12 million. I could have took a little tractor over there and did what they did in 2 weeks, graded all that out for probably a couple $100,000. They put a lien on their property because they know he couldn't fight it. They increased the lien. By the time we paid the lien off, it was $19 million. That hole in the ground, $19 million. Look at it. Look at that ground they got over there. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Look at that hole in the ground. Yeah. Yeah. Every time you show it. They charge them $19 million for that. You gotta pay. And see, that's the thing. What they did, they said, okay, you gotta pay this lien off. So what that lien allowed the Loudons to do, to actually own the property, they sued Jackie for the lien amount, $22 million, got a judgment against him. So now, not only he had to pay $19 million, he owed $22 million to the Loudons. So that's how they forced you off, man. The Loudons have been his friends all this year, and then they turn on him. Let me tell you what they did to him last week. So they went, LVXP was supposed to go before the planning committee to get approvals so they could move on, put their names on the drawings and stuff like that. They went out there, they didn't use LVXP. They used the company that the Loudons had formed because they knew the Loudons, that Jackie owed the Loudons $22 million, so he couldn't say nothing. But he's supposed to be his friends. I mean, it's comical all the stuff they try to do to him. This guy come in with this last lawsuit, made it a RICO. Now, people see RICO, they think, oh, the feds here and all that. All they did was RICO in name. And the feds didn't bring that because it's all false. This same guy sued Jackie and him 2 years ago. It got thrown out in California. He sued in California. He just moved to Nevada. Did the Review Journal say anything about that? And they knew. The reporter knew. He has all the documents. He's talked to everyone. Now, what's happening right now, LA Times getting ready to do a story about LVXP and all them. LVXP hired the damn general manager from Crazy Horse 3. You know he mob. I mean, as soon as his name pops up, they gonna call. Gave him a salary of $14.5 million 1 year.
Wow.
Oh, it gets better. So the guy, James Frazier, if you look at the operating agreement for the two companies, I got everything. Operating agreement shows James Frazier, to get 49% of that company, put up $2,500. Now, this is a major $15 billion project. You get in on a deal like that for $2,500. Ernie, the guy we brought to the table, has 51% of the company. He put up $25 million. You got 2 more points for $24.something million, more than this other guy. So that tells you, all right, we got some issues right there. So they all start falling out because James Frazier started spending all the money. He started putting these videos and stuff together, bought all these renderings and stuff. When he hired Tomasino, the one that did the Spear, he hired him as a construction manager. You know, these guys, you got to pay them top dollar. So what they did, he has 3 seats on the board, and our guy Ernie has 3 seats. So Ernie has him, his wife, and another guy out of California, a guy named Ryan Bloom. James Frazier has him, the mob guy, and his stripper girlfriend that works at Crazy Horse 3. He has an employment agreement with the stripper girlfriend. $9 million a year is what he's paying the stripper girlfriend. Okay? So Ernie and them have sued them now, so they turn around and countersued him. I told him, James Frazier took some money from the mob. You know he ain't finna go away. He gonna fight this to the end, because, you know, if he don't fight it, you know, we may not see him no more. But that's what and like I said, we deal with all these people all the time, so we know. I told Ernie, the guy that had put $25 million, I said, Ernie, I said, this is gonna be your situation. I said, James has gotten you guys in some stuff that you have no idea. I said, you know, you think he out here, you don't know who all he's taking money from. So now you guys are compromised. So they call us because I have a lender in Boca Raton, Florida, got more money than God, and trying to give it away. All he wants is to own the NBA team. He talked to the NBA. They told him quickest way to get in the NBA, get the arena. And I told him, I said, hey, there's other people looking right now, because like I said, I know a lot of people in that industry. I don't know if you know Mitch Richmond. He's playing for Lake. Mitch is one of my partners.
Okay.
Yeah, Mitch, I got Derek Fisher, and we got Shaq. Okay, we got Magic to close the deal. We need him, so we're there. We right there. We're trying to take Jackie with us. So we made Jackie an offer last week, which I told him he should have took. $6.8 billion to do his project, pay off all his bills, get him out of debt, and that stuff would have never hit the newspaper. Jackie wouldn't take the percentage. We offered him 30%. Now we bringing all the money and everything. So obviously my guy want to protect his money, so he wants 70% of the deal. Jackie wanted 51.49 because he said all the paperwork and stuff was in his name. I get all that, but you can't. When you're in a situation where you need that kind of money,
Right.
you got to compromise.
Yeah.
I told the guys, man, I do 90-10. My deal over here at the Rouge is 60-40. Yep, 6%, but they putting up all the money. They ain't got to do nothing. They putting up all the money. All I got to do is lead the charge.
I take that.
Yeah, take that all day long. Everything that you want to do is there. I mean, they ain't got to do nothing. They paying all the debt we got, paying all the land, everything for 60-40. By the time the percentages come into play, when you're looking at profits and stuff like that, you 10 years down the line before you're going to make any money in casinos. People don't gamble no more. The money in casinos now is entertainment. Them white boys want to come, they want a sports book, entertainment, go to day clubs, pools and stuff like that. That's where the money's made. You're not making money. People sitting there gambling. Millennials don't gamble. Yeah. And so, you have to have a niche market. That's what the young guys do. So, we look at all the numbers. The guys that are working on my project, they all work for, 2 of them work for Station Casinos. Rick Richards' dad ran Palace Station for years. Rick's a 3rd generation guy. He's my gaming guy. So my lender, the one I'm working with right now, the one that's involved, he trying to buy Circus right now. I went to dinner with him in Phil Ruffin about 2 weeks ago. He's trying to buy 102 acres from Phil Ruffin, but I didn't know how deep Phil Ruffin was in with our president. They got several companies together. Yep, they own a lot of land. Him and Trump own a lot of land together. So. I mean, these guys got lots of money, and see, they trying to dump the money before the first of the year. That's the whole thing. Dump it. When I say dump. All BS aside.
Hands over.
We have a meeting Friday, okay? By next week, I'll be sitting on 100 of them just to play with.
Right.
Yeah.
Bring some over here.
She know I'm gonna take care of her. That's my homegirl. I gotta look out for her.
Yeah.
But people don't realize how much money is coming into this community. Our politicians are normally so compromised they can't get involved in nothing. I don't call no names, but we all know that some of them have been compromised, and they don't do nothing for our community. There's no way our community should be looking the way it is. There's plenty of money. I'll tell you what. One of my really good friends is Glenda Rhodes. Her husband Jim Rhodes, developer here, Rose Ranch. You ever heard of Rose Ranch? That's them. Glenda said when they start a project, what they do, they come in, they have a community meeting, and they ask them, what all do y'all want? Parks, grocery stores, all that. They give it to them. You know why? Because time is money in construction and developing. The quicker you get people in your buildings and stuff like that, that's when the quicker you start making money. They're not gonna be out here arguing and haggling over some bullshit. Like how many meetings have they had on Harlem Nights about the hype on the stuff? Like that. I talk to Slow Mo and them all the time. Slow Mo and them ain't got no money. So what Slow Mo's trying to do, the reason he has to make his project so big is because he has to pre-sell the condominiums to raise money. He's got 2 other partners. They don't even want to do the deal. They want to sell out the whole thing. Lisa Mayo called me, 3 or 4 days ago. They done fired Lisa Mayo, hired somebody else, so she's not even dealing with no more. She brought Troy Herbst, one of the Herbst brothers, over here to see if he wanted to buy the property. So, now they in flux. They keep saying, okay, well, we were waiting till, politicians change and stuff like that, but that's not true. Everybody trying to get money. It's hard to raise capital for these projects. You got to get very creative, and so the only thing that'll work for him and what he's trying to do, he's got to go big. Now, what his plan is, and I told him, I said, dude, do not do that. The community has already spoken. We don't want no big-ass monstrosity over here over a certain amount. In his mind, he going big because the FAA approved a certain height, even though the city has him restricted. He wants to sue the city to get past the restriction. I said, number one, you're going to create friction in the community when you do that. I said, it's never a good thing you sue the government. I mean, they got deep pockets, they can fight you, whatever, and that's going to be a situation. You want to try to avoid that. So what I'm trying to convince him to do is, hey man, compromise whatever. Buy additional space if you can spread it out. But, stick to that restriction. Whatever the city and community wants you to do that. Because you can't go in there and just tell them, okay, we're going to force this down your throat. It doesn't work like that. I've seen smaller communities than ours just shut the whole projects down. And, you got to compromise. When you're a developer, you got to come in, you got to compromise. You may have your dream of what you want to do, but that may not be what the community needs and stuff like that. I'll tell you a prime example. I went to University of Arkansas. My best friend works for Tyson Foods. He's a head IT guy at Tyson Foods. His wife is corporate Walmart. I had a situation where They were trying to get a grocery store over here years back. You know, when they had Smith's and Smith's clothes and stuff like that. I had a neighborhood market store ready to come over here in that location from Walmart, coming over here. Came out here, they told me I had to meet with one of the local groups. I said, no problem. I go out there and call the names again. There was a group. We met out there in the parking lot. We don't want Walmart. They don't pay their cashiers enough. I said, hey, if my grandma can come here and get a chicken for $3, I'm down for that, you know. Nope, they don't want Walmart. Do you know where that Walmart store here, where it's at right now? It's at the corner of Jones and Lake Mead. That neighborhood market store, that's the store we're supposed to go here. But that just show you how people fight stuff and don't realize. Walmart come in, they'd have brought doctors, they brought everything. Everything that comes with them, the whole Walmart situation, they'd have came in and put it in the community. But see, we don't see that. We small-minded and thinking about, okay, we're worried about what a cashier making. It's that's stuff like that. And it's hard when you try to develop. Even when I was doing, I'll tell you another prime example. Let me tell y'all something else. Okay, Desert Mesa. We were gonna build Desert Mesa, me and my group. Okay, we went to the planning commission. I'm in there. I'm the only person over here on my side supporting the project. Sandra Morgan, who's president of Raiders now, was the city attorney. I've known Sandra for a long time. Sandra used to work for my main attorney. She worked for him, Teddy Parker. Teddy is the housing authority attorney. That's one of my best friends. We've been friends for over close to 40 years. So I'm down there and said, hey, we're gonna build this nice project, and everybody down there was coming in. Oh no, we don't want that. The previous people, they was doing this and that. We don't want this, whatever. And so I'm telling them. They said, well, we want a park. I said, there's not a development in town. I mean, we building single family homes. They building it for a reason to make money. They're not gonna just give you a park. Oh no, we don't want no houses. So I said, hey, obviously we have some issues. I said, I think we need to have a neighborhood meeting and discuss them with the community and stuff like that. So I said, I want to table it till next month. Fine. So Sandra said, flying to Hawaii with them in 2 weeks to look at some naval-based projects that they're working on. They do projects worldwide. They agreed to come in. They have a presence here in Vegas. Mr. Loop helped at one time, was part owner of Treasure Island, and also helped in the financing for Allegiant Stadium. They're the group that will be financing our project moving forward. We're looking, I'd say from the first of the year, we're probably looking at 36 months. We'll have the first 2 phases, which would be the casino, hotel, pool area, nightclubs, restaurants. We actually have a handshake agreement with Mr. Herb with Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles to have the first Roscoe Chicken and Waffles outside the state of California, something like that. I would love for more of us to get involved in the construction industry, but it's just not like a whole lot of people. My family, we that's all we ever knew. My family had equipment. My uncles and them have been here, like I said, since the 50s. So we always had equipment. Construction used to be so fun. I was like, man, I can't believe they're paying us to actually do this. I love being on equipment and stuff like that. When you get into management and stuff, things change. By the time I got done, when I, like I said, did Lorenzi Park, you pretty much had to have attorneys on retainer. I mean, you're getting sued. You're always in some type of litigation. All your paperwork's got to be up to snuff. It just got to be crazy. The best job I had when I was just digging footings on the backhoe. Love it. Do my 8 hours, go home. Best job ever. And we made a substantial amount of money because most of the projects we did were public works. It's a prevailing wage. So I'd have guys out there sweeping making $48 an hour. Oh. Yeah, that's why I tell people need getting the construction trades in the union stuff like that. That's why I get so mad. I look around Las Vegas pavement, got all this work, and then you don't see nobody look like us out there.
Because nobody's fighting for it. You gotta have somebody fighting for it.
But see, that's our problem. Our politicians don't fight for nothing like that. We worried about, okay, can I get a plaque at the park with my name on it? That's the kind of stuff we used to hear. Oh, Scotty, hey man, can I get a plaque? Put a plaque up for the ground before we had a ribbon cutting. It's like, what? We had a group that was going to fund this whole project, the Filipino group. They came out and they had one deal that went bad on them and they couldn't do it, but they had brought the money. It was down here. It was 20 deep. They wanted to have this big show, and it was Manny Pacquiao's people. Manny Pacquiao's aunt she used to cook for us every day. They had an office down there. She used to cook, and the fight he fought Adrian Broner. They brought us all to the fight. We all came to the fight, and but she cooked, and like you could suggest something like, oh man, I really wish I had some oxtails. the next day, oxtails would be there. They brought in, they were cooking, they'd have a whole hog coming in there. And they would, every day they cooked something. They were super nice people, but they all pooled their money. Now let me tell you what they were doing. They were doing this thing called premium financing. They were getting these insurance policies, huge ones, like $1 million policies. And what they do, they would take the proceeds off those policies, and they would bring you in. If you brought something to the table, like land, house, stuff like that, they were pooling everything. They buy you a car. I can't shit tell you. I had a Lamborghini. They brought me a Lamborghini, a Aventador. They brought my son a 340i BMW. They brought my mom a Lexus 570. We had people over here getting cars. I was taking people over there, and they had everything set, but they couldn't close the deal on getting a bank. They were going to finance everything through the bank, but they couldn't quite get their deal closed. And so, we just ran out of time with them. But they make money. Them guys know how to hustle. Every day they had some new deal going on. If it wasn't real estate, I made more money hanging out with them in like a year than I did like the previous 5 years. Just doing real estate deals. They would just cut me in on the deal. I had some lenders, and say for instance somebody wanted to refinance their house or whatever, they come in every deal. I made minimum $25,000 on every deal we did. Like right now, one of the people we're dealing with right now is a Cherokee Indian group. So I'm helping them do some stuff right now. And all these, I'm telling you, man, these Native American money. I'm finna go check and see if you got some Indian, trust me, you can go get some money. They have more money. It's insane. They buying all the land down on the strip. That's what they doing right now. The Indians, they buying. Yeah, they in. They just think they already got the palms. They getting ready to start on the Mirage. Getting ready to start on all that. This lady that I'm dealing with, she'll be in my meeting on Friday at our architect's office. She put that whole deal together for the Mirage. The funding for that. But see, they all work together. People be thinking they all different tribes. They all work together. We went out to California. They have a credit union down there for 75 tribes in Corona. We went out and met with them. That controls money for like 75 different tribes. They got a lot of money. Yep. And they in the game, and they getting in the game on a much larger scale now. I got 2 deals right now. There's another casino down in Laughlin for sale right now. Ain't even on the market. And the Indians are selling. They tried to sell it to a guy we knew in Alabama who owns a casino down there. He turned us on to it through the bishops that I know. Now the bishops I know, they introduced me. You guys ever heard of Carlos Slim? At one time, the richest man in the world is from Mexico. He's in telecommunications. Okay, his nephew was gonna fund us. He was having problems with the Federal Reserve. They couldn't get their money. They couldn't move their money. His cousin Marcos is on the board of directors for BlackRock. Carlos Slim got more money than God. I hung out with them in New York for about 3 or 4 days. They came out and met me at Resort World when we first signed the agreement. They gave me these things. They gave me these 2 items. They call IBOEs, International Banking Instruments. They're like banking instruments. One of them was for $500 million. One of them was for $16 million. But in order to monetize them, they had to be digitized, and the Federal Reserve had to approve them. Since they were all fighting, they wouldn't approve them. I got them in my briefcase right now. Yeah, because see, they have a lot. See, what happened? The federal government, the United States, borrowed a bunch of money from these really rich Mexican people back in the 30s. And so what they did, they gave them these notes. Over time, those notes were supposed to be able to be cashed in. There's a lot of rich people in Mexico. You wouldn't even believe how many people. And a lot of them keep their money in their houses and stuff. They don't really trust the banks and stuff, but there are a lot of very wealthy people down there. So, I mean, we stayed in a penthouse right at Central Park in New York that every bit of $50 million. I mean, just crazy. They got crazy money. They came out here. I introduced them. I got a friend that owns, you ever heard of Lunas Construction? Mm-hmm. They had these yellow dumpsters. That's my buddy Norberto that owns that company. Him and his family does. Me and Norberto have been friends for years. We used to go to Blue Martini together all the time. I introduced them all together. So now they all doing stuff together. They taking like fire trucks and ambulances to the little towns in Mexico. They do a lot of stuff like that. I mean, they take care of their town. They're real good about that, about sending money back. But these people handle so much money. And another thing, they all are subject to be kidnapped. They all have been like kidnapped. But the only person you don't kidnap is Carlos Slim. You can Google him. Yeah, you kidnap him, your whole family gone. Yeah, they don't play. You can't even get within 10 miles of this compound. I mean, it's crazy. He like one of the real, but he ain't a drug lord, but he's a businessman. He's in telecommunications and stuff like that. That was his biggest thing. But I mean, they were coming in to try to. I got a contract with them to fund the thing, but they just can't move their money. Now the killer part now, since Trump back in there, all the regulations and stuff that stopped them from moving money, now they can move money. Yeah, because all the issues we have, right now I got $250,000 over at Citibank held up because the wire transfer came from a gentleman named Muhammad from Texas, and he's from Jamaica. He sent us a transfer. Me and him working on a deal together. That was my portion. They sent me. They wired the funds. Citibank been holding it for 2 months. Wow. Sitting there. Make sure you receipt right here. That's how they do us. We ain't supposed to be handling that kind of money. Yeah, I mean, there's so many economic opportunities out there. But like I said, we'll show you, because like I said, I'm not just doing this. I'm bringing some real capital to the community in the form, our thing is we want to get a bank over here and stuff like that, because we can't go nowhere. We can't go get money. They said, okay, the Hispanics are doing whatever, but they have access to funding. They can go get money. We can't go nowhere to get no money. What bank we got? Nothing. We don't own nothing. I mean, we just here. We just existing. And I can't accept that. I'm like, man, we got a credit union or something. We had the West Side Credit Union for a long time, but a lot of people didn't even know it was over here because it wasn't something that was visible. I mean, that shouldn't. My whole thing, because now, like I said, we'll be handling a lot of funds. My whole thing is I don't want nobody to go through what we've had to go through to try to fund our project. It's not, and I mean, that's the way it should be. I'm a country boy. I like to hunt and fish. That's my thing. I got a house right there outside of Little Rock on a lake, and so I can fish and do whatever. But I want to start spending more time there. But I want to get this out of the way, and I think it's very important. Like I said, I'm gonna call Jackie right now. So I'm gonna introduce y'all to him. Call Jackie Robinson. Hey, Jackie, how you doing?
Hole in the wall.
Everybody, this is Jackie and John Delabos. This is John's been helping Jackie on this project. Jackie, I'm actually over here giving an interview, and we're talking about your project, and the group that is here. This is what they're here for, to help you. So I'll kind of let you guys kind of tell. This is Mr. Jackie Robinson here. If you guys can introduce yourself.
Well, I'm going to be first. I'm from Los Angeles, California.
He is too.
Oh, okay. Now, are you related to the Jackie Robinson that we know that is so, what do you call it? A legend? The Jackie Robinson that played.
Well, he could be called a legend.
I'm a distant cousin, but I'm also a cousin of Emmett Till.
Ooh.
There you go. Ms. Duncan, come in.
History. More history.
We are over here at the Harrison House where Sammy Davis Jr. was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Sammy Davis Jr. recruited me here, but I came here to play at UNLV. And so,
This is Jackie right here.
This is amazing. This is awesome. Well, we're honoring my oldest brother. He passed April 15, 2020. He played professional football with the Packers. So we're using his legacy, Willie D. Davis.
Oh, yeah. Great player. Great man.
Thank you. We're using his legacy to really get the attention from where we need to take our current Black America back to where those standards of those players and those legends that came at that time. We want to bring and use their legacy as that's what we need to aspire to be again. So we're using all of that, what we have from the sports to the arts, the entertainment, all of this now is coming in, making a package to say we are complete in what we're saying and who we are. So now we're getting ready to do a united platform to really go to what you would say the White House, the America, and let them know we are real Black America. This is who we are, and we want to rise above this whole system that has kept us down and let you all know who we are and who we represent. So it's television production, it's interviews, it's documentaries, because that's going to be the main thing, getting the story and connecting it all.
I appreciate it. This is one of the main reasons I've been fighting for it. It hasn't been so much to try to put my name in it, because I had lots of opportunities to have gotten the money to build it, but they didn't want me. I was steadfast. One, I didn't want to be gaming. Number two, I wanted to be African American owned. majority owned. And also we had to have all the contracts, to renegotiated contracts to have at least 35%. That would be work, purchase, and then and contractual wise by minorities, especially African Americans. And so that's what I would not give on. And John Delabos, Mr. John Delabos was here when I was got invited to the top of the Resorts World and offered me to come in and they would give me all the money to build my property on top of it. But that would be the things that I'd have to give up, and I didn't. I walked out of there and they said I'm not, because I want to be minority, because we don't own anything. We don't have any major buildings or arenas or stadiums or anything else, whatever. And so that was my whole purpose in getting this done. It didn't have a participation from minorities to be able to do so. And that's why we negotiated with the unions. We negotiated a PAL agreement to be able to do so. And we also negotiated funding for minority-owned companies that, that's one of the major problems. When they get contracts, they can't fund them. And that's what we want to do. That was the whole main purpose of getting this thing done. It wasn't about me. It was about what this was going to mean to our people, period.
So where are we right now with this project? Where are we now? What can we do right now to move this project forward?
Well, the situation that we're working on, and I'm working on with Scott and the other people I have right now, is to go in and purchase the property and go back in. Once I got posted, they told me that I went the whole process and put everything together, and then once I got when I got too close, then they threw up a roadblock that I had to pay off a vendor in order for me to get my entitlements again. And then they didn't want me to put it on the record that I had money, because they didn't want to do that. So what we're doing right now is fighting to go back in and take down the land and go back in and pay that other situation off and go forward.
What's that?
So I have a group that I have to get that done so we can move forward. Get that done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, what's standing in his way?
She said, what's standing in your way? This is Catherine Duncan asking what is standing in your way.
Well, there's some things that I did some work on the property, and then we had put up some bonds on it, and the bond did not pay out, and so the landowner had to pay it, and I'm right now working to get that done, and then pay off some other debts or whatever that we have.
So it's only money? There's nothing else in the way except money?
Yeah, that's the only way. That's the only thing that's in, because we had done so much work on it. We've done about 4 or 5 years of work on it, on the project, the design and everything else, whatever. So there's nothing else standing in the way of it at all.
Well, we are here.
How much is he looking for?
She says, how much are you looking for?
We are.
That's already taken care of.
We got the money. We just need David Loud and them to clear up some stuff, and they're ready
What's
to go.
stopping them?
Me, Jackie being black.
Oh. Well, he's not going to change.
Let me tell.
What say what, Jackie?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
No, he's telling you actually.
I'm telling you the truth, because like I said, it ain't money. Because we offered them we just sent them an offer for $600 million cash, 10-second transfer.
So
they ain't signed it yet.
So say we've been blacklisted. Let's be for real.
No. We just need him. All we need is a signature.
But you
Jackie's signature?
No, we need the people that own the land. We just need their signature so we can move forward and close on.
What are they signing off on?
We have a good relationship with the landowner.
To take the money?
Okay. So we should be fine. How soon do you see this thing moving forward?
Well, we're trying to do as quickly as possible. I mean, we're
on the phone with him.
So,
yeah, we're dealing with Joe Brown's handling the transaction. You know Joe Brown, don't you?
I'm just trying to figure out what's standing in the way.
I'm telling you. What else? If I call you, Miss Duncan, and say, "Hey, Miss Duncan, you selling your land for $400 million? I'm gonna give you $600 million, and I'm gonna transfer it to your account tomorrow morning. Are we okay with that? And we don't hear back from you for a week. You tell me. What else could there be?
That's why I'm asking. What's stopping us?
You said what's going to change his mind? What's going to change his mind?
Well, there's the lawsuits. Oh, go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, but this is what I'm going to say to you, that there's a couple of things that they do when they try to come in and stop us as African Americans. They try to either come and try to tell you that you're incompetent. They know I'm not that. They know my background and history. The project is you don't know what you're doing in the project, and they can't do that. We were the #1 project keynote speaker for the national arenas and architects and builders in 2022 in San Diego. They know that. They know I don't have a criminal background of any sort, whatever. So they try to smear you to try to get you for hopefully that you have the lenders and people that have funds out there to back off so you can't raise the money to go forward because they know that's the only thing that was an issue. So once we get this thing done with a situation, there isn't anything else because there's no reason and there's no logical situation that we don't have support down there to be able to go forward and do this. But there's been people trying to come in and trying to smear and trying to step in and everything else, whatever. But we
Did you see what they put in the paper about him last week?
have done about four years of work.
Horrible. Like, bullshit.
So do we need a press conference? Do we need to do anything
We
to
need a-
really show?
We need a press
unity.
conference. Yeah, we need to run their ass up out of here. Yeah, because like I said, we've been for so long. We've been sitting back. Huh?
Yeah. But one of the things we want to do is we want to pay off all of the debts, whatever, there's loans that I've borrowed that need to be paid, and also the landowner pay it off. So there isn't, because they're trying to use that as a situation that, well, there's one thing that happened, which is totally untrue. You might have saw in the paper and they said that I rose $800 million of small loans, all small short-term loans, whatever, which is total lies. And there's no foundation on it or anything else, whatever, to say that I didn't pay that back and we conspired with all these different people that come in and that was all stuff out there just to smear our names and things like this. Well, that was untrue because if I had $800 million that I had raised, I would own the land right now.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
So do you have what you call allies? What allies do you have here with the state of Nevada and all who you have to deal with in the city and the government?
Well, I mean, when you're talking about African American, you don't really have you got people that say they're just hands off, they're just going to have hands off. Like, for instance, the landowner have a good chance. If I came up with the cash to be able to do it, the landowner would do it. That would mean you got a problem if you had a situation like this, whatever. Because if they say you ain't buying the land no matter what, then that's the issue. Or there's been other people like Sylvia Resorts World. They want to do it, but under certain conditions, And so I haven't had those type of problems, but then there's some people in this community, you recognize me in this community, how it is, that just don't want to see an African American on there be able to say and do whatever it is to be able to do that. So the runway is open for me to get the situation done.
That's what I told them. It's right there. We can wrap this up right now.
Yeah, that's what needs to happen. We need to wrap this up. There's too much stuff
Both of
is
them.
hanging and dangling all around.
My dream is to have the joint press conference. Say, hey, not only we doing Mr. Robinson's Arena, we doing the Moulin Rouge.
Come on now.
And let's keep whatever else we want to do.
Come on.
That's the press
big
conference.
deal.
I got all the. I'm gonna put you on with Mitch Richmond right now, NBA. I'm gonna call him right now and tell. And
let's make it
he
work.
waiting on me to call him to come for this press conference.
My goal has always been to do an international sports and entertainment museum at the Moulin Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
So by having this type of Jackie Robinson,
Tie both of them in together. Absolutely.
So
Yeah, we got all the legends, so now we got to talk about the people that are doing it today. We've got to have a Black History Museum.
Yeah,
We gotta do
absolutely.
it.
Oh, that's
I talked to Michelle Corrales. They want to do the boxing Hall of Fame. They'll move it right over here.
That's what we want to talk about. And not just sports,
Yeah.
sports and boxing and
One
part
of
of
the
it.
things we want to say, before we go and do anything, any press, we want to make sure we get those things taken care of and paid off first. Because
Yeah.
Hey, all I need is tell John to call David, sign that agreement we sent over, and we off to the races. We'll move the money tomorrow. He ready. All we need is for David to sign that agreement, and that's it.
for the agreement.
Yeah, they sent him agreement over, and it's for $600 million and proof of funds for $700 million.
When did they do
They
that?
sent that last week.
Who is the
That came from George, and they were LVXP. I told you LVXP was trying to reach out to him. I told him don't do that deal with them because LVXP was tainted. So he said that's how Joe Brown got involved in it. Matt called Joe and said, "Hey, we have the funds. We can move forward on the funds."
Because David has never mentioned anything to me, and I would think that on something like this he may have.
Call him right now. Tell him he got it from Matt and them. Matt and Joe Brown. He's got it.
Okay.
Yep. because that's when because LVXP Ernie and Dale had contacted George and Susan. I said that's when I when I called y'all and asked you for those lawsuits. That's when I sent them that lawsuit. I said you do not want to get in bed with them. He said, well, we got the money, we'll just leave it there. I said, okay, how we want to do it? All we want to do is make sure we secure everybody's position. So he's got it.
Well, I'm not doubting you. My concern is probably that he hasn't said anything because he's loyal to us and maybe is looking at the offer.
Let me tell you why.
People, and how does this impact Jackie?
All this BS. Let me tell you what he's doing. The agreement that he has with LVXP, he's scared James Frazier's going to sue him. That's why they won't sign the agreement. We were trying to force their hand. James Frazier can sue David and Ernie if need be, because you remember the guy from Huntington Beach, Bloom? Bloom,
Yeah.
That's the one they asked us for all that money to pay off James Frazier. I said, we ain't giving him a dime. So that's the
Where do
deal.
you get the money to pay off James Frazier?
They wanted us to give them the money from the money that we have, from George's money.
So who's George?
George is the lender from that's the one that we were on the phone with, George and Susan.
Yeah, we talked to Charlie. I've talked to him a couple of times.
Okay, so they're not involved at all with LVXP.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah. Okay.
He's Team Jackie. That's what I'm saying.
Because he was talking about Ernie. I just want to make sure.
No, they called us because Dale know we had the money. So that's why he had Ernie call us, because they were trying to figure out a way how to get James Frazier out the deal. I said, we're not paying James Frazier a dime. We're not dealing with LVXP. There's only one way this is gonna go. That's why I called to get those lawsuits so I could show them, like, hey, this is what's gonna happen. Sue Loudon didn't even know that LVXP had all this stuff going on. That's why Paul Jr. called me, and that's why he was pissed off.
So they didn't know. Because that's what be because if they would ever sign with them guys, their man would be tied up for.
They're gonna be tied up in court. That's why we were trying to get a deal done before the 19th, because they got discovery tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
And because James Frazier gonna try. James Frazier got nothing to lose. He done took this money from the mob. Number one.
Yeah.
He looking real bad because he gave the girlfriend all the money, so he ain't got nothing to lose. So he gonna go scorched earth. So we were trying to get the deal done. That's why we told Joe Brown, let's get the agreement signed before you get to court.
Yeah, but that's because what he did is that he made some promises to get that money inside those contracts. Now so to get that money back to them, back out by him.
Exactly, and the people he dealing with, they don't want to hear nothing about what he got going on with Ernie. They be like, where's our money?
Yeah.
Whenever you put a mob member on your board of directors that we all know.
Yeah.
You don't think that I told Ernie, I said, Ernie, the Fed's gonna be calling you.
Yeah. How you gonna get a gaming license?
Exactly. They're not gonna be able to get one. You can't get a gaming license. You're under scrutiny. Now you're under the scrutiny. The Fed's gonna be involved. You got a stripper making $9 million a year. I'm in the wrong profession.
No, we're not. We're all that's what we were all talking
Yeah. Documented. hey, this ain't something I heard. This is documented. Yeah, this ain't nothing I heard. This is documented. Yeah, I should say we can probably get John naked for cheaper than that.
It don't matter.
That's what I told you. Huh?
Scott, what is George's ultimate?
George is dying.
Well, I understand that, Scotty, and I've mentioned that before.
He don't care because we told George.
Bad for him and his family.
Oh yeah, when the stuff came out in the paper, we said, hey, we need to figure out a way to at least to keep everybody in this game. We got to figure out a way how to secure that property, because we knew what James Frazier's getting ready to do. If we don't get a deal done tonight or before court tomorrow, that thing is done. That property gonna be tied up for the next few years. Because if I know what James Frazier gonna do. He ain't got nothing to lose. And he's got to show the people that he's either agreed to take money from or already has taken money from. He's got to show them that he's trying to stay in the game. James out there filming commercials. James filmed a video a couple of days ago on the property. Dale called me. He said James out there filming a video on the property right now. So you already know what he gonna do. The whole kid, like I said, we can lock in if we lock in the property, the project will take care of it because we gotta use your project. It's not like I said, we not going through all this right now to try to, get involved in your project. That's your project. So
Scotty,
yeah.
what is
George
George want?
don't want nothing. George wants y'all to. George just wants to.
But Scotty, we both know that George had requirements before, and he was operating in the neighborhood of 80, him and 20 Jackie. And that was never going to work.
It was 70-30 with 6.8 billion. We not talking 6.8 billion. All we doing right now is trying to save a property that's getting ready to be unsavable.
Okay, then where does the 70-30 shake out, or has it changed?
We can figure that out. Like I said, the whole thing they were trying to do is try to save the property.
Get the property first and then
Then y'all can figure that out. Cause he don't want nothing. He told you on the phone. Give him a suite when he come into town. We don't even know how long George gonna be. He told me, he said, Scott, I'm walking hospice. That's what he told me. And he laughs about it. I was like, man, for somebody to be dying. You know what George is doing? The same reason why I'm in this room right now. That's what George is giving to Jackie. He don't care about none of that other stuff. Obviously, he wanted to protect his money, but he don't care about the percentage. None of us do. The whole kid, if we don't get this land, ain't nothing to even talk about, because what the NBA told George is whoever gets that arena first, because have you noticed Bill Foley them piping up right now?
Yeah, $300 million to redo the Golden.
Yeah.
Golden Knights.
To do T-Mobile. So he don't. So he
Golden Knights arena
right.
To make basketball suitable.
Yeah. So that's what he. So everybody's jumping in right now. Jackie's 3 years ahead of anyone. That's the whole. Whoever gets Jackie's arena.
Golden Knights, but he's certainly.
Yeah.
Everybody else by 3 years.
Whoever. Jackie is the golden child of this whole deal. Jackie's got NBA experience. Jackie has a relationship with the NBA. Jackie and Fred Brown are the ones that were leading the charge for the two franchises. That's it. They all know this. George knows this. The NBA guys that we deal with know this. This thing has to come through Jackie. But if we don't save this land, ain't won't be nothing there. George says, save the land. Let's get the land. We don't care. George don't care. He don't care about that. He just want to get the land because he knows what's going to happen with LVXP. Because I will guarantee you tomorrow at that hearing, James Frazier James might have a gun in his head when he walk up in there. So he gonna do whatever. People like that are that desperate. He gonna do and say whatever. The whole key is getting that away from them so that the land is secured. Then land secured, like that. I can change the agreement. I got the agreement right now for 600M. I can say, hey, out of that 600M, pay the allowance 500. There's 100 million there to pay off whatever bills y'all got. Right now, I can change it right now. I got my laptop with me.
The allowance already agreed to be in 24, 25.
We
120 and 22 for their.
We already told George to pay off every transaction you guys had. We had George already ready to pay them off.
They give us that because we've already got a permit that's already pulled and everything else. If he gets about 420 and give us the rest of being able to pay stuff off and get started immediately when construction goes.
I got 600 million to work. I got 600 million to work with. So however y'all want to split it. John, call David. Tell him to take 420 million. Sign the agreement. The money will be in there tomorrow.
Can you split in the agreement that there's?
The first thing we got to do, we'd have to pay off the 22.
Before we can move to any kind of an agreement, Scotty, we have to pay the 22 million to David Loudon. That's a prerequisite.
He got 600 million. He can pull it out of there.
And that, Scotty, but that has to come as a separate payment before anything else is done. It can't be bundled with anything else.
It don't have to be bundled. The agreement that we sent over previously had separated the 22 million to pay David Loudon and the 28 million to pay Ernie. It's 25 million plus 3 other million.
Okay.
Okay, well, Ernie is up to you guys. We're not involved in Ernie.
Right. We don't have to, like I said, we don't have to deal with them because the attorney I just talked to said, hey, don't do nothing with LVXP. Period. I'll send you the text message I just got.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's why paying David Loudon for 22 is right, but I wouldn't go jumping over the fence to give Ernie money.
Huh? Well, see, that's the whole. Well, see, that's the whole thing. See, because Jackie, I mean,
I agree with the attorney on that one.
let me tell you, that David thinks he owes Ernie that money.
David Loudon does?
Yes.
Oh, I would beg to differ with you on that.
No. He told. I was on the phone with him. He told us. He said we had to figure out. Ernie had to be paid that money if we wanted to move forward. Let me tell you where they are right now. That's why we put that in there because David was the one that brought it up.
Okay, so David, I mean, Ernie must.
Yeah, me neither. I found out today.
He does 100%.
No, let me tell you what the issue is. The dribble dunk that they went down there with at the county. Do you know what the documents actually say? Dribble Dunk Inc. doing business as LVXP.
What?
Yep.
What?
Yes, sir.
Wait. Wait, what is this at the county? You said
Yep.
At the county.
Doing DBA LVXP. That's why Ernie thinks he has. Ernie said he has the rights. That's why we sent the agreement over to him to buy it from him. That's why we were talking to them.
Well, why didn't you call me, Scotty?
You were sick, John. We've been trying to call you.
What do you should have called me? What do you mean?
We-
I've been sick. I was out of the hospital on November 3rd, sir.
All we needed is a signature from David Loudon. David wouldn't give us a signature because he said talk to Ernie. Ernie had us talk to a guy in California from last night. We got everything ready to go. But then that's when everything came out on Friday. That threw a monkey wrench in it because somebody called Susan and sent her the article. I had to bring them back into the fold to do this deal. So George said he will only do the deal if we can take the land down right now. We can figure it out from there. He wants to take the land down right now.
Okay, so you said the project that they put in records as, okay. So
Yep.
I'm
The
looking
project.
here.
If you look in there, I'm telling you that I can get Susan. Susan got the documents they sent her.
I'm in the recorder's office.
Yep.
So I'm going to search the property record? No. I'm going to search permits, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let me look in here. Permits.
Did you read those lawsuits? You need
Which one?
you need to read the
Yeah.
LVXP lawsuits, and then you'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah, no.
All that stuff's in there.
We read that one. We got that one.
Yep.
Okay, where's the permits? Go in here.
Where's the
Permits
land?
are in here. Okay.
Okay.
Here. But Scotty, how can they commandeer dribble dunk and say it's a DBA of LEXP when it's not even their company?
It's all paper. Tell you. David, Ernie told us David, that's the agreement he has with David.
But David isn't dribble dunk. Jackie is. David has has no part of dribble dunk. He has no signing power. He's not.
I'm telling you what Ernie and them told me.
Well,
Okay,
Ernie
so
made
let me
this
see.
informed.
And
Okay,
no,
perfect.
Susan called me. Susan called me, said she had pulled up a document that showed a dribble dunk, whoever was down there at the county, it had a DBA with LVXP.
Yeah, DBA. Okay. DBA, the LB. Yeah, okay, so let me look here. No.
That's what they did. I'm telling you.
Well, that's impossible because Jackie owns,
Huh?
because Jackie owns Triple Dunk, so that's impossible.
What's the company that the Loudon's on? Hold on a second. I can tell you exactly who was on.
Allnet Development, Allnet.
Allnet Development. Allnet Development is the one that has a DBA.
Allnet Land.
Allnet Land has a DBA of LVXP.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine, but it can't be triple duck.
No, it's one of the companies. Like I said, I can pull it up right now.
Well, please do, because it can't be triple duck.
No, it's just all the land.
It's all net land development. Yep.
No, yeah, because that's the holding company for the property.
Mm-hmm. John, let me tell you, you're not dealing with people that are playing fair. You got to remember that they doing shit that you guys don't even know about behind the scenes. It's got to be a clean deal to get the deal done. Clean it done. And George don't want the property. He wants Jackie to do his project. That's what he wants.
Now, that I can understand because they want to be able to transfer the property at a later date before they're able to purchase it.
And Ernie told me he's been paying $100,000 for every extension that they get.
$100,000 one, sir?
Not the month extension. He's
doing a month. He's getting an extension. He's paying $100,000.
A month, every month.
Yep.
Well, how can that be? Because if he's gonna be, when is,
You know what David told us? David said he had an NDA with Ernie. He couldn't even discuss the project with us. Yep.
And he's $100,000 a month, right? Well,
Yep. Ernie and them don't have the money. That's why they call.
Well, when your rent is up, the landlord can evict you. If you're renting a house and you're paying $5,000 a month, and then the landlord says to you, "Okay, I'm done with you. Goodbye."
He's not gonna do that because Ernie gave him $25 million. He's not gonna do that, John, because Ernie gave him $25 million. That's why Ernie keeps getting the sweetheart deal to keep going.
That's what the 22 off goes. Bill back and pays on. He gets Ernie out and pays the money back. So they do that plus whatever money they got, they pay it back and they go forward. So that's why he's got to do the 22 and break it through anything else because he got to pay it back. So that's the first shoe he's got to drop.
Oh, I agree with that. And David made that clear from the very beginning. That was the first shoe he had to drop.
First shoe that's a drop. Other than that, you can't do something.
Yes.
So all they need, well, I know Paul Jr. is they having a meeting tonight. No, they didn't know none of the stuff about LVXP.
Paul Jr.
Yeah, I talked to Paul Jr. yesterday.
So he didn't know about the degrees and all this stuff?
No, he didn't know any of this, and he's pissed off that they're involved in this situation.
I mean, Paul Sr. is.
No, Paul Jr.
Paul Jr. is involved, is pissed off that they're involved in this.
Yes.
Well, Paul Sr. signed the agreement in June.
I know.
So, is it like father, son, not necessarily agreeing here?
Well, no, I think he's pissed off at his uncle because their names all over the paper and getting ready to get in a bigger situation. Cause see the way the thing is set up with LVXP and stuff like that. James Frazier has a minuscule. I mean, he owns 49% of the company, and they tried to remove him from the board. That's where the fight is. Number one. Number two, the attorneys they can do that because
49% they can do that. He has to have controlling interest in them not to do that.
Yeah, but see, the way it's set up, if you read the operating agreement, see, they both had the opportunity to remove one person off the board. If you notice, the guy Pulio or whatever got removed by Frazier. Okay, now he's suing. He's suing too. Yeah, they all suing each other. I told you that you're gonna be anything involving LVXP is gonna be wrapped up in court. You're gonna be in court for the next 5 years.
No. I knew that James Frazier was suing him. I saw he was answering the question, but Pulio filed counsel.
Pulio filed too. Now Frazier finna sue again. Frazier finna tie the land up. That's what That's what we trying to tell. That's what we kept trying to tell the Loudons. Frazier's they finna tie the land up.
Claim on the land.
Huh?
He sued, yeah, he has no claim on the land.
Yes, he's LVXP. Huh?
Another company just lost his pendants on that.
Don't matter. He's in LVXP. Until they officially remove him, he still has rights.
Did they vote him off?
They voted him off, but that's what he's suing to get back on. They couldn't take him off.
They can't take him off. Oh, I thought they did take him
No,
off.
They attempted to take him off. Then that's when he came back. And see, all they asked him for was financial records and stuff he spent. He can say, "Well, I spent it for the benefit of the project." He could fight that all day long. They just said,
And all he has to do is bring in all the fraud and the fact that everything that he got was stolen.
that's fine and dandy. But in the meantime, he said, "Hey, I'm finna put $100 million lien on it. I'm suing David Loudon and Ernie for $100 million." That's what Ernie and them are scared. That's what they're scared of. And their financial guy we talked to last night, he said, this could go real bad. I said, we know.
That's what happens when David got involved with James Frazier.
He never should have got involved with James Frazier. That's what Ernie said the same thing. He said we never should have got involved with James Frazier. I said, there you go.
And I don't understand why these people did get involved with him. If you talk to him more than a half an hour, it's obvious that he's an unsavory person. You don't need a dossier to prove that.
No, but people don't look at it. They look at the bells and whistles. They see something. Oh, we got this amazing project. This guy's doing this, whatever.
Well, James has a lot of bells and whistles, but they're all going off for the law.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, trust me. And see, that's the whole thing. That's how ugly this is gonna get if they don't close.
Well, and David Loudon knew James Frazier's pedigree because he was with us first, and we shared with him what we had gone through with him.
James Frazier told Ernie and him he's been knowing the Loudons his whole life.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
He said that James Frazier told him that he known the Loudons his whole life. And that's what you see what they said. He said in the newspaper. He said in the newspaper. David said he didn't know this many times for him.
Yeah. But the first article that came out, if you look at that first article, they were talking about how great James Frazier and all these real estate investors and stuff they had was going to do on this project.
Who said that?
Review Journal.
Review Journal. Yeah, but that wasn't a quote from the Loudons, though.
It doesn't have to be, John. Ain't nobody looking for quotes. They looking for sensationalism. They don't care. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's the whole thing. That's the thing. The perception. Everybody's fighting the perception. Their perception. Everybody's perception is that okay. All right. Now their perception is, oh shit, Jackie got all these issues with this thing. Okay, that's the perception. We know what the reality is. Seasoned people that's in the business, we know it's not true. But it's the general public that's feeding it. That keeps it going. That's why we're here tonight, because it's not fair. What they're doing to you, okay, why y'all not talking about LVXP?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
How soon can George have $22 million?
George got $600 million. He can hit the button. You can have it tomorrow. We told him where you want it sent. That's what we told David Loudon. We can send it to his account. Put it whoever. Joe Brown. We told Joe Brown send it to his IOTA account.
We have an IOTA account set up. So they agreed to
Master instructions already set up for this. That's what I.
All he asked for was he just wants a signed agreement from David Loudon. That's it. This could be over. You could make the agreement and say, hey, okay, we're paying this on behalf of Jackie and them. You remember the agreement you guys sent us over a few months ago? We can attach that to the LOI. All I gotta do is change the numbers in the LOI, show that hey, we're paying $22 million for whatever. He's not gonna send $22 million. He's sending $600 million. He doesn't piecemeal stuff. He sends the whole thing. All we got to do is show that what needs to be paid out. That's the whole thing. The $22 million. Whatever else needs to be paid out. That's all we got to put in there.
if you work out a really well, I think these are some paybacks too. The things got to sign.
Company software says that IO payout.
Okay, instead of sold 600 if you wanted over there, we come to agreement. Yeah,
That's it. He said he'll send the $600 million to an escrow account. He said because Ernie and him had asked him, they wanted to do due diligence. He said what the hell? Let's just put the money in the escrow and let it sit there till y'all finish. That's it. 2 to 5 years. I want to get this project done. The Rouge, like I said, I'm not a quitter. If I start something, I want to finish it. Obviously, there's a lot of naysayers out in the community. We hear all the negativity and stuff like that. But you can't. You just got to brush that off. You got to have thick skin and keep moving forward. There's a couple of projects that are kind of near and dear to me that we're working on. Like I said, the Moulin Rouge is at the top of that list. As soon as I can get that out of the way. But I'm going to give Vegas probably 2 to 5 years. That's pretty much it. And I'm going to ride off into the sunset. We just need the support and to say, hey, we're behind you, and that's it. Like I said, everything else will take care of itself. You can reach me at either by my email, moulinrougescotty@gmail.com, or either my phone number, 702-752-6970. And my office, we just opened up a new office up in near downtown Summerlin.